Hello children, how are you all? Hope you all are doing well. This is Krishnamurthy. You can call me as VK. Welcome to Electron Chemistry Center and welcome back to another session of aldehydes and ketones. Of course, in the previous sessions we have discussed about various chemical properties. In this session we are going to talk about another set of chemical properties for aldehydes and ketones. Those are oxidation of aldehydes and ketones. In this session, we are going to talk about oxidation of aldehydes and ketones. Very important topic this also. I'll be discussing only about oxidation of aldehydes and ketones in this session. Under that, first one, when we talk about oxidation of aldehydes. Oxidation of aldehydes. See, remember one thing. It is an interconversion of three functional groups. One is alcohol. Alcohol upon mild oxidation will give aldehyde. Aldehyde upon further oxidation, it can give carboxylic acids. Carboxylic acids. It can form aldehyde or ketone. Anything can form, which is upon further oxidation can give carboxylic acids. Carboxylic acids on reduction will give aldehydes or ketones, which are on further reduction will give alcohols. This is interconversion. Hope you understand, children. Oxidation of aldehydes, if you observe it, if you take aldehydes, that is RCHO, aldehyde upon oxidation, it gives carboxylic acids, RCOOH. So we can use various oxidizing agents, right? So here if you observe it, oxidation of aldehydes can occur even with the help of mild oxidizing agents. Even mild oxidizing agents, even mild oxidizing agents such as bromine water, Tollens reagent, Benedict's reagent can oxidize aldehydes. Why? Why mild oxidizing agents also can oxidize aldehydes? Whenever it comes to ketones, mild oxidizing agents cannot oxidize ketones. Why the difference? Because carbonyl carbon is connected to hydrogen in aldehydes. Carbonyl carbon is connected to aldehydes. Carbonyl carbon is connected to hydrogen in aldehydes. So that hydrogen can easily absorb the oxygen. Addition of oxygen is very easy. It gives RCOOH. There is no breaking of bonds. So because of there is no breaking of bonds, it is easy to oxidize the aldehydes. By the help of mild oxidizing agents also, aldehydes can be oxidized to carboxylic acids. Of course, even you can use strong oxidizing agents like concentrated HNO3, KMNO4, K2Cr2O7. Those are also can be used. But even mild oxidizing agents also can oxidize. But when we talk about ketones, what is the general formula? Oxidation of ketones, if you observe it, R C double bond OR, this is ketone, right? But ketone does not oxidize by the mild oxidizing agents. A mild oxidizing agent cannot oxidize ketone. Why? Because it is carbon and it is carbon. There is no hydrogen. There is no hydrogen attached to carbonyl carbon. We have to break this carbon-carbon bond. So we have to break this carbon-carbon bond. That's why strong oxidizing agents are required. Strong oxidizing agents are required to oxidize ketones. To oxidize ketones, as it involves breaking of CC bond. Moreover, there is no carbonyl carbon hydrogen also. and we have to break the CC bond. For that, strong oxidizing agents are required. Remember that Tollens reagent, Fehling's reagent, Benedict's reagent, those cannot oxidize ketones, children. Those cannot oxidize ketones. Strong oxidizing agents like KMnO4, right? Alkaline KMnO4, acidified KMnO4, those are required. K2Cr2O7, that is potassium dichromate, concentrated acidified potassium dichromate, concentrated HNO3, such type of strong oxidizing agents are required. Such type of strong oxidizing agents are required because it is involving in breaking of CC bond. Now the very important point here, CH3CO, whenever if you take an unsymmetrical ketone, I am taking here pentan 2-one. Obviously there is a possibility of two types of breaking. What I mean to say, there are two CC bonds. It is a CC bond, right? As well as it is also CC bond, right? So there are two possibilities. In that case, how can we give it? For suppose if I break this bond, I'll get one set of products. If I break this bond, I'll get another set of products. Like that, I'll be getting two sets of products. So if I maintain cleavage, let us say A and let us say it is B. A cleavage is there as well as B cleavage is there. So I am breaking this. Bond, right? In that case, children, okay, I'll be getting the products if you check it. So this will be oxidized. A cleavage I am writing here. Okay, I am writing A cleavage. A cleavage, if I observe it, I will be getting CH3, CH2, CH2, COOH. Butyric acid I will be getting. Plus other side whatever we have, that will be formic acid. This can be cleaved, it is HCOOH. Of course, formic acid upon eating, it will give CO2 plus H2O. And if I go for B cleavage, what I'll be getting? B cleavage means this bond. Other side, what you are getting? CH3COOH, acetic acid plus, and this is acetic acid we are going to get it. Other side, what we have? CH3, CH2, COOH. This is called propanoic acid we are going to get it. Two set of products we are going to get it. So out of this A cleavage and B cleavage, which are major products, that will be decided by the help of Popoff's rule. That will be decided with the help of a rule called Popoff's rule. Very important. So according to Popoff's rule, these products are major products. These products are major products and these products are minor products. So in the breaking or in the cleavage of unsymmetrical ketone, this is unsymmetrical ketone, pentan 2-one, the carbonyl group always comes with a smaller alkyl group, or a carbonyl group always retains for smaller alkyl group. So your carbonyl group retains for smaller alkyl group. Here this side CH3, this side propyl, it is smaller alkyl group. So carbonyl group always retains for smaller alkyl group. That's why CH3COOH is a major product and CH3CH2COOH. These are the major products. So I'll be giving the statement here. I'll be giving the statements. Popoff's rule statement. During the breaking of CC bond in unsymmetrical ketone, CO group or carbonyl group retains with smaller alkyl group. Try to understand the statement clearly, children. During the breaking of a CC bond in unsymmetrical ketone, CO group always retains with smaller alkyl group. So if I take another example, CH3, CH2, CO, CH2, CH3. So this is unsymmetrical or symmetrical. So it is said to be pentan 3-one. It is unsymmetrical ketone or symmetrical? It is symmetrical ketone. So for symmetrical ketone, concentrated HNO3, oxidation, what will get it? CH3, CH2, COOH, one side, CH3, COOH will be getting. But in the previous case, we have considered pentan 3-one. In that, pentan 2-one. In that, ketone group is retained with a smaller alkyl group. That is the statement can be given for Popoff's rule. Hope you understand. So if you write few more examples, CH3COCH3 plus oxidation, 3 nascent oxygens with K2Cr2O7 in the presence of H2SO4, you will get CH3COOH. Acetone, whenever it undergo oxidation, it gives acetic acid plus formic acid. Acetic acid plus formic acid will be obtained, and this formic acid, once again, if it oxidized, right, if it is heated, it will give CO2 plus H2. Okay, hope you understand that. So it is the oxidation of the ketones, children. It is oxidation of ketones. Now the next one we have, it is for competitive, for NEET or JEE. NEET or JEE. Aldehydes and ketones. This is extra part. Remaining also there for NEET or JEE, but it is extra part. Aldehydes and ketones with a methyl group, with a methyl or methylene group, methyl or methylene group adjacent to carbonyl group, adjacent to carbonyl group on oxidation with, you have to make a note on at these points, on oxidation with SiO2, this is called selenium dioxide. Selenium dioxide at normal room temperature only gives alpha dicarbonyl compounds. Very important. Alpha dicarbonyl compounds can be obtained. What does it mean? So CH3, CHO. CHO functional group is there, carbonyl group is there, adjacent to that methyl should be there and methylene should be there. Here methylene is there. If it is oxidized with SiO2 at room temperature, you will get that can be oxidized to CHO. Already another CHO is there. The CH3 group has been oxidized to CHO. This is called glyoxal. This is called glyoxal. Selenium plus water can be removed. So alpha dicarbonyl compound. 2 carbonyl groups are there. Similarly, you can take CH3, COCH3 plus SiO2 at room temperature. So this is alpha. It is also alpha. Anything can be oxidized. What will you get it? CH3CO. This can be oxidized to carbonyl compound, so CHO. Right? It is called methyl glyoxal. Methyl glyoxal alpha dicarbonyl compound. 2 carbonyl functional groups should be there. Then only it is said to be alpha dicarbonyl compound. Plus Sc plus H2O will get it. Similarly, you can take cyclohexanone. This is CH2 group if you observe it. Okay, at alpha position we have SiO2 at room temperature. This reaction is very important. So you will get here double bond O and here double bond O. This is a alpha dicarbonyl compound. Cyclohexane 1,2 dione, you will get it. 1,2 dione plus selenium plus water. This is what I am going to get it. It is another set of oxidation reactions. It is all about oxidation of carbonyl compounds. Hope you understand, children. So hope you have enjoyed the session. We will catch up in the next session with another interesting topic. Until then, take care. Signing off. Bye. Thanks for watching the video. If you like the video, please click on the like button. If you have any doubts, please post it in the comment box. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and encourage Electron Chemistry Center. Thank you. Bye.